If you're scared of the dark, scared of those big bad enemies, your companion has got you, boo. This Spore Warden class is for you. This class is all about sitting back, relaxing, and letting your companion do all of the hard work, and you reap all the benefits. Let's go. Hey, this video is brought to you by NordVPN. Stay tuned for an offer they are making available exclusively through my channel. Let's go. The Spore Wardens are gun and companion specialists. We'll start out with the class feats and the active skills. The Mushroom Companion is up first, and it is your class feat, which is the Mushroom Companion that targets nearby enemies and deals poison damage and follows you around. He's pretty cute after all. Barrage is the first active skill, and this summons an ethereal bow firing 7 arrows that deals ability damage on impact. These arrows can ricochet and hit other enemies as well. This is kind of like a shotgun blast, but like from a bow that does 7 arrows, so you can really deal all 7 arrows to one target if you get up nice and close, and you can pop this, and it still does decent damage from range, so it's still worth using it there. Blizzard is the second skill, which creates 3 frost cyclones for a duration that seek out nearby enemies, dealing frost ability damage over time. The playstyle for what we're doing with this class is the Spore Warden class is a great solo class, as you get a pet that you can use to taunt with the Spore Cloud skill, and if you go down, they can also revive you if you get that skill as well. The way I'm playing my Spore Warden is using 2 pets to tank some of that damage, deal most of the damage that's coming out from my character, while buffing myself and my abilities using my action skills. A number of the Spore Warden skills buff your ability damage, and the Barrage just does straight ability damage, so you can make Barrage very strong, but the interesting thing here is this ability has 3 charges, and if you look at some of the gear that you will get, especially into the later game, the enchantments that you get will have enchantments that will activate when a skill starts or when a skill ends. So because you have 3 charges of your action skill, this means that you can proc these enchantments practically all of the time. So say if you get X amount of damage increase for a certain skill and it only lasts, say, 10 seconds on an action skill cast, you can cast your action skill like every 10 seconds and keep that damage increase for basically permanently, and you won't actually lose it. It's also worth noting that with this class, it's good to aim down sights because you do have skills that give you extra damage and damage resistance from the coal shot skill. You want to stay at range, keeping in the back line, let your pets do the damage, let your pet taunt, and you can also ping the enemies so that your pets will target the specific enemy you're looking for. So say if you've got a badass or something that you want the pets to focus on, you can ping them, the pets will go and attack that, then you can clean up all of the trash around them. Let's talk gear, and firstly, without a ward to keep your defenses high, you're going to struggle in combat, and the same is true for your internet security, and NordVPN can help with that. Most people know that these days that using a VPN can allow you to access streaming services and their libraries in other countries that aren't available to you. So if you're like me in Australia and all the good shows are on the Netflix USA app, then the VPN lets you access those services in that country. What you may not know is that you can use a VPN to connect to other countries and purchase services in their local currency, saving yourself money. So for example, YouTube Premium is 15 Australian dollars here, but by using a VPN, I can get it for $3 a month. Same goes for gaming deals, and some countries even get games cheaper in general, so there's plenty of options to get yourself some better deals and access streaming services that you wouldn't otherwise be able to access in other countries. And just like our cute little mushroom companion, NordVPN has your back. With more than 5,500 servers in 60 countries, fast speeds accessible across all of your devices, twice encrypted traffic and secure browser traffic, they have you covered for all of your security needs. You can try NordVPN risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee using my exclusive offer at NordVPN/Norza to get 73% off a 2-year plan. Check the link in the description down below. Thank you, NordVPN, for sponsoring this video. So now for your actual gear, the gear that you want to find, you want to buff your companion damage and your ability damage primarily, but any buffs to your guns and overall damage is a positive as well. There's also plenty of gear that you can find that will spawn Hydra companions. These can come from weapon reloads or even spells. These also count as companions, so any kind of buffs you get to your companion damage, they will also get buffs from that. So you can then just pile up a bunch of Hydra companions plus your companions and just deal heaps of damage via them and without having to really do anything. For your background choices, there's a few decent options here, and I originally went the Rogue Alchemist because I was thinking I'm going to focus on the poison damage and like the status damage effects, but the Recovering Inventory Hoarder is probably the better option to go because you get the +5 to attunement, which lowers your skill cooldown, allowing you to get Barrage off more often, and because we're focusing on Barrage, so we can trigger these enchantment attunement effects, then it's probably the better option to go. And that goes for your attributes as well. Attunement's probably going to be your primary attribute for that skill cooldown to lower it as low as possible, so you can keep spamming barrage. Strength and dexterity for crit damage and crit chance are just really good in general, so why not pick them up? And you could go the status damage effects, but I think that attunement and then strength and dex are the best for this build. The best secondary class option for the Spore Warden really depends on the direction you want to take this pet class. If you want to focus on more of a defensive route, the Clawbringer is probably the best direction. The Wyvern pet is a little stronger than the Demi-Lynch when you buff it. The Clawbringer has skills that buff gun damage and elemental damage, which is great for the Spore Warden, and the poison damage that your companion does. You get lots more survivability with this class because of the increased ward and ward regen, and it's a little bit of a jack of all trades but master of none class, so it will allow you to do well in any aspects, especially if you want to put some points into the melee damage as well, so you can then do gun and melee, and you've got the companions, and you can kind of be a jack of all trades and do really everything while still using the companions as your primary aspect. But the Graveborn pet is the offensive route. This is a stronger option if you want to solely focus on the pets and the companions part of this build. The Graveborn has skills like the Faithful Thrall, which is a first level skill, so you can pick this up very quickly, which deals bonus damage for every companion that they have. You already have 2 companions by the Spore Warden and the Graveborn, but you can spawn tons of Hydras, and they also count towards this, so you can keep increasing that total. All these skills are based around the companion buffing and then their dark magic. So really, if you're picking up this as your secondary class, dark magic weapons are probably going to be a key component to your build, and then buffing your companions with these skills like Faithful Thralls and the other skills that they have that buff the companions, and then your companions will take the priority, and you're just going to sit back and really just deal dark magic from ranged and just play around in the back line for the most part. Some general class tips for playing this build is, firstly, you want to make sure you revive your mushroom companion when he goes down. Unlike the flying companions, when your mushroom companion does go down, you can revive him, so make sure you jump over there and revive him. And if you do go down yourself, you can just wait for him to come and get you. You know, you could move towards him and he will actually come and revive you if you pick up that skill. So when you do go down, if there isn't anyone around you that you can actively kill very quickly, just go towards your pet. He'll come to you anyway and you'll be able to revive you from there. In combat scenarios, you want to sit back in the backlight and deal damage from range. Snipers, assault rifles, long range weapons are much better in this build, especially weapons that you can use the aim down sights to get benefits from that skill to increase your damage and damage resistance. And you don't really want to be moving too much with this build, just kind of hanging back, letting the companions deal with everything in the front line and just kind of chilling in those regards. Some encounters will force you to move around a lot, and they can be a little bit annoying for this build because you do want to just kind of be mostly stationary and kind of just chill in the back line and aim down sights. But while you're leveling, I wouldn't worry too much about the enchantments that you get on your gear. You only get access to the enchantment reroller into the end game, so that's more of the direction you'll take this build once you get to the end game. But while you're leveling, you really can just focus on trying to build this guild together with the barrage and buffing your companions and then buffing your ability damage, and you can focus on all of that stuff while you're leveling. And then when you hit the end game, you can really get into the nitty gritty of using the enchantments and getting the buffs from the action skill cooldowns. You will find gear that has enchantments, you just can't re-roll gear until you have completed the game, and when you've completed the game and you get access to that re-roller, you can put enchantments on gear that don't have it already, so it just makes it much easier to find gear that has these action skill styles, so action skill and buffs that you can put on gear. But realistically, you'll worry about that once you get to the end game and you're really putting this build together. Check out my spell shot build, which goes through a casting build using spells primarily. Thank you for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. Thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. My name is Norza, and I hope you have a great day.